On the last QuickCast for the first full week in June, we talked about a big pattern change compared to May. That featured a large trough with below average temperatures and increased precip in the Great Lakes and Northeast, and an expansive heat dome of high pressure in the west. As we go into the middle of the month, that pattern will shift again, with the western high pressure building east. For some, that will bring the first taste of true summer weather. This includes places like Chicago, Illinois, Detroit, Michigan, and much of the lower Great Lakes, where temperatures will climb into the 90s by this weekend. On the northern side of the high pressure, a zonal flow will bring rounds of storms to the northern tier of the country. On Wednesday and Thursday, the first system skirting the U.S.-Canadian border will bring a chance of strong to severe storms for Minnesota, Iowa, and Wisconsin on Wednesday, and then stretching from Kansas and Missouri up through the lower peninsula of Michigan by Thursday. Late Thursday and into Friday, that system's trailing cold front brings a chance of storms to the northeast and mid-Atlantic. Some of those storms may be strong to severe, especially if there's enough daytime heating in Pennsylvania and New York State. All hazards of severe weather are possible from Wednesday to Friday, although damaging winds and large hail are the primary threats. There will be a brief cooldown behind that system, but temperatures will quickly rebound as that high pressure builds in from the southwest. Meanwhile, we turn our attention to Florida this week. As we highlighted in the last QuickCast, being one of the first to highlight a potential for tropical development in the eastern Gulf of Mexico across the Florida Peninsula, a large plume of tropical moisture will bring rounds of flooding rain and storms along and south of a stalled boundary stretching across North Florida. As of this recording, the National Hurricane Center highlighted a tropical development risk area well off the Florida Atlantic coast and southeast coast, as a weak low pressure in the eastern Gulf of Mexico traverses Florida over the next couple days. Regardless of any tropical development, the flood threat in Florida will remain high as the plume of moisture stays over central and southern Florida into the weekend. These rounds of heavy rain and thunderstorms will also bring potential air travel delays flying in and out of Orlando, Miami, Tampa, and southwest Florida. By the weekend, that same frontal boundary that will bring the severe weather to the northern plains, possibly through the northeast by Friday, will help guide any potential tropical system away from the east coast and out into the open Atlantic. Still, that trailing plume of tropical moisture looks to keep central and southern Florida wet all the way through the weekend. Looking at the weekend, Saturday, June 15th and Sunday, June 16th, any lingering showers in the morning from the frontal boundary look to clear the northeast and should build in nice weather for much of the northeast U.S. The Great Lakes and central states, down to the Gulf Coast and southeast, will see summer-like conditions with warm temperatures and higher humidity. Especially if you like warm weather, this will be a good summer weekend for much of the east-central portion of the U.S. Return flow from the Gulf of Mexico around the west side of that high pressure will bring shower and storm activity from Texas up through the high plains. Another system riding around that high pressure may bring another round of strong storms to the northern plains over the weekend. The southwest will stay dry and hot, with the best temperatures along the immediate Pacific coast. In the Pacific Northwest, a trough will increase chances for showers and rain to the I-5 corridor from Portland up through Seattle. A little ways out, but some models indicate that we'll have to watch that system for a potential trough ejection into the high plains next week. If that occurs, that would likely bring a significant severe weather threat to the plains by the middle of next week. Some models also point to further tropical development in the Gulf of Mexico. We'll have to continue watching that region as we go through mid into late June. Again, we'll have more details on any significant severe weather outbreak and any significant tropical development as models continue to refine their outlooks. For right now, both of those scenarios are a little too far out to get details. Here's your boat, beach, and barbecue grades for the third weekend, June 2024, from WeatherCast America. Please like and subscribe to this channel. We'll have more forecasts, updates, and live severe weather streaming coverage. With the peak of severe weather season and the start of hurricane season, it's important to stay weather aware and have multiple ways to get updates.